To escape a lonely Easter, billionaire CEO dates the town's most rejected woman. Married her and she gave him triplet. Welcome back to our one and only channel. How have you been since our last story together? I truly hope life has been kind and generous to you. The bond we share through these stories is something I treasure deeply. Please go ahead and drop the name of your country in the comments. Where are you watching from? Your presence here isn't just appreciated, it means everything to me. I'm so grateful you've joined me today for a journey that touched my heart deeply. Meet Maxwell Donovan, a billionaire tech CEO whose empire spans continents but whose heart remains empty. Behind the Forbes covers and business accolades lies a man haunted by childhood Easters spent in foster homes, never knowing the warmth of family tradition. Though he commands boardrooms with unwavering confidence, each spring brings that familiar ache of isolation, especially as another Easter approaches his luxurious but silent penthouse. Meanwhile, in the small town of Mapleton, Olivia Reed quietly arranges books in the local library, her kindness overshadowed by vicious rumors and repeated rejection. Known cruelly as the town's most rejected woman, her dinner invitations go unanswered and her genuine smiles meet cold shoulders. What happens when these two worlds collide through a chance encounter that will change both their lives forever? Have you ever felt that deep loneliness even when surrounded by success or opportunity? That feeling when holidays approach and the emptiness grows louder than the celebration? Share your thoughts below. When was the moment you realized connection matters more than achievement or others' opinions? If this story already speaks to your heart, hit that subscribe button and notification bell right now, my beautiful souls. This journey of unexpected love, small-town judgment, and the miracle of triplets that follows will unfold over the next episodes. Stay with me as we begin. Maxwell Donovan commands attention whenever he enters a room. Standing 6'2" with broad shoulders that perfectly fill his custom Italian suits, he moves with the practiced precision of someone accustomed to being watched. His dark hair, precisely cut with subtle silver streaking at the temples, frames piercing blue eyes that analysts have learned to fear during negotiations. Those eyes rarely soften, except when he believes no one is looking. His corner office sits 93 floors above Manhattan, walls of glass offering a view most only dream of, yet he rarely pauses to appreciate it. His hands, strong but manicured, constantly check his platinum Patek Philippe watch, as though even time itself must adhere to his schedule. The subtle scent of sandalwood and cedar follows him, an expensive cologne chosen by his assistant rather than personal preference. When he speaks, his voice carries the quiet authority of someone who expects to be heard without raising his volume. His rare laugh sounds unpracticed, almost startling those fortunate enough to witness it. Across a distance of geography and circumstance, Olivia Reed moves through Mapleton streets with a different kind of presence. She stands 5'6" with a willowy frame and honey-brown hair that falls in natural waves past her shoulders. Her wardrobe consists of handmade dresses in soft pastels and vintage cardigans found in thrift stores, each piece carefully mended and treasured. Her hands tell stories, slightly calloused from gardening, with a small burn scar on her right palm from baking. The scent of old books, lavender, and homemade bread seems to cling to her. When she speaks, her voice carries a melodic quality, though she's learned to keep it soft after years of interruptions. Her eyes, a warm amber flecked with gold, reflect both resilience and vulnerability. The smile she offers, genuine though hesitant, reveals a slight gap between her front teeth that she once tried to hide but has reluctantly accepted. Her movements flow with natural grace, though she often hunches slightly, as if trying to occupy less space in a world that's made her feel unwelcome. Maxwell's childhood memories arrive in fragments, foster homes blurring together, holidays marking transitions rather than celebrations. Born to a teenage mother who surrendered him at 3 months old, he bounced between 7 foster homes before turning 18. Easter particularly haunts him. In 3rd grade, he watched another family's elaborate egg hunt from a bedroom window while his temporary guardian forgot to include him. By 5th grade, he'd stopped expecting inclusion. By high school, he'd transformed loneliness into ambition, graduating early and earning scholarships through relentless work. His tech startup at 23 became his identity and salvation, growing exponentially as he poured every waking moment into its success. Now at 42, Maxwell's company, Quantum Innovations, dominates the tech landscape. Yet success tastes hollow during holidays when his penthouse falls silent. His drive stems from proving his worth to people who never stayed, building something too significant to abandon. He donates millions to foster care programs but keeps his history private. Beneath his calculated exterior lives a boy who still fears rejection, who measures safety in achievements rather than connections. His board worries about his lack of personal life, concerned their workaholic CEO might burn out. Maxwell dismisses their concern, though late at night, scrolling through competitors' social media posts of family gatherings, something aches beneath his breastbone. Olivia's childhood began with promise, loving parents, a quaint house with a garden, and community respect. Everything changed at 16 when her father, the town's beloved doctor, was accused of malpractice after a prominent family's daughter died during routine surgery. Though eventually cleared, whispers followed their family. Her mother retreated into depression, while her father worked increasingly long hours at a hospital 2 towns over. Olivia, once popular, became the target of cruel rumors spread by the deceased girl's cousins. By graduation, former friends crossed streets to avoid her. Now 35, Olivia finds purpose through small acts of kindness, growing vegetables for elderly neighbors, reading to children at the library where she works, fostering injured animals. Her rejection stems not from any specific failing but from small-town politics and the human tendency toward cruelty disguised as protection. She's developed a quiet dignity, though each new rejection reopens old wounds. Her motivation comes from a deep belief that kindness matters even when unreciprocated, a philosophy tested with each invitation declined, each friendly overture rebuffed. Jackson Porter, Maxwell's chief operations officer, stands as his longest relationship, 15 years of partnership built on brutal honesty and shared ambition. With salt and pepper hair and perpetually loosened ties, Jackson balances Maxwell's intensity with dry humor and occasional intervention. He alone knows fragments of Maxwell's past, pieced together over rare late-night whiskeys. Recently married himself, Jackson increasingly pushes Maxwell to seek life beyond quarterly reports. "You've built an empire," he often says, "but empires get lonely." Margaret Wilson serves as Maxwell's executive assistant, a formidable force in tailored pantsuits who manages his life with military precision. Approaching 60, she regards Maxwell with maternal exasperation, slipping protein bars onto his desk during marathon meetings and forcibly blocking his calendar for occasional rest. When Maxwell mentions spending Easter alone again, concern flashes across her normally impassive features. In Mapleton, Ruby Dawson operates the diner where Olivia gets morning coffee. At 74, Ruby wears bright lipstick and speaks her mind with unfiltered honesty. She defends Olivia against gossip, though her protection sometimes draws more attention. "This town has the memory of an elephant and the wisdom of a rock," she tells customers who whisper about Olivia. Josephine Clark runs Mapleton's library where Olivia works. Soft-spoken but steel-spined, she hired Olivia despite community pressure, recognizing her intelligence and gentle way with patrons. At 58, Josephine views the library as sanctuary for the town's overlooked souls. Mayor Richard Palmer represents Mapleton's old guard, slick-haired, perpetually campaigning, with a practiced smile that never reaches his eyes. His son dated Olivia briefly in high school before the scandal. He's ensured she remains excluded from town functions since. His wife Victoria chairs every committee, orchestrating social hierarchies with southern sweetness masking ruthless judgment. Bethany Miller, newly arrived to open a bakery, offers Olivia genuine friendship, unaware of town politics. Her straightforward warmth creates ripples in Mapleton's social pond, especially when she insists on featuring Olivia's homemade jams in her shop. Manhattan rises around Maxwell's life like gleaming armor. His penthouse occupies the top floor of a glass skyscraper, floor-to-ceiling windows offering panoramic city views. Despite designer furnishings in muted grays and blues, the space feels more like a hotel suite than a home, immaculate, unlived in, devoid of personal photographs or mementos. The kitchen gleams with unused appliances. His refrigerator contains primarily bottled water and meal service containers. A single bedroom shows the only signs of habitation, rumpled sheets and nightstands stacked with business journals. His office projects power through minimalism, a desk facing the door rather than the breathtaking view, art selected for investment value rather than personal connection. Even the air feels filtered, temperature controlled to perfection yet somehow sterile. Quantum Innovations headquarters occupies 30 floors of prime Manhattan real estate. Employees move through open-concept workspaces designed for collaboration, though conversations hush when Maxwell passes. His presence brings both inspiration and anxiety. His vision drives their success, but his standards leave little room for error. The building buzzes with energy and innovation, yet Maxwell walks through it feeling strangely disconnected from the empire he created. Mapleton unfolds along tree-lined streets where Victorian homes stand alongside modest bungalows. The town square features a gazebo where summer concerts play, though social hierarchies determine seating arrangements. Olivia's cottage sits slightly apart, at the edge where town meets countryside. Built in the 1930s, its pale yellow clapboard exterior needing fresh paint tells of careful maintenance with limited means. Inside, mismatched furniture creates unexpected harmony. Bookshelves line every available wall, plants thrive on windowsills, and handmade quilts add splashes of color. Her kitchen smells perpetually of herbs from the garden visible through windows above a farmhouse sink where early morning light creates prisms through hanging crystals. The Mapleton Library occupies a converted church, stained glass windows casting rainbow patterns across worn wooden floors. Olivia's domain, the children's section, features reading nooks built into former pew alcoves. Here, she creates magic through storytelling, while parents who avoid her elsewhere temporarily suspend judgment during her popular reading hours. Downtown, Ruby's Diner serves as the town's beating heart, checkerboard floors and red vinyl booths unchanged since the 1950s. At the far end of Main Street, the exclusive Mapleton Country Club hosts the annual Easter Charity Gala, an event Olivia passes each year, watching attendees arrive while she walks home alone. 2 weeks before Easter, Maxwell finds himself trapped in a board meeting where personal lives become unexpected agenda items. The company needs stability, argues board director Franklin, eyeing Maxwell over horn-rimmed glasses. Investors appreciate seeing executives with strong family foundations. Others nod in agreement, citing studies correlating CEO longevity with relationship status. Maxwell deflects with practiced ease until Jackson drops an unexpected bombshell. Maxwell will attend the National Tech Alliance Easter Gala with a +1. Already arranged. The room relaxes visibly while Maxwell's jaw tightens imperceptibly. Later, cornered in his office, he confronts Jackson. "What were you thinking?" Jackson remains unrepentant. "You need this. Besides, we're expanding into smaller markets. Attending a charity gala in a potential location shows community investment. I've already accepted the invitation to Mapleton's event." Maxwell's objections die when marketing presents research showing Mapleton as an ideal location for their next innovation hub. Small enough to offer tax incentives, large enough to supply educated workers, with property values making relocation packages attractive. "Fine," he concedes, "but I'm attending solo." Jackson shakes his head. "The invitation's already been processed as a couple. Find someone or look uncommitted to both personal relationships and community engagement." Maxwell stares out at Manhattan skyline, calculating the professional cost of appearing alone versus the personal discomfort of finding a suitable companion. Meanwhile, in Mapleton, Olivia faces her own unexpected challenge. Mayor Palmer struts into the library, Victoria trailing behind with clipboard in hand. "We're restructuring the Easter Gala Committee," Victoria announces to Josephine, deliberately avoiding Olivia's gaze. "The children's reading program typically contributes themed decorations?" The question hangs pointedly. Josephine straightens. Olivia coordinates that program. She's designed beautiful centerpieces every year. Victoria's smile tightens. We're moving in a more professional direction this year. Outside vendors. Olivia continues shelving books, face burning despite years of practice at weathering such moments. When they leave, Josephine squeezes her shoulder. Politics. Nothing to do with your work. Later that afternoon, Ruby corners Olivia at the diner. Heard those vultures pulled your decorations. When Olivia shrugs, Ruby slams down a coffee pot. Every year your centerpieces raise hundreds in the silent auction. This isn't right. Bethany, arranging pastries nearby, looks up curiously. What centerpieces? Soon examining photos on Olivia's phone, she whistles appreciatively at intricate book sculptures featuring Easter themes. These are incredible, professional quality. Why would they not want these? Olivia manages a small smile. Some people in Mapleton have long memories. Ruby snorts. Not memories, grudges dressed up as tradition. The following morning, Quantum Innovations' advance team descends on Mapleton, booking half the rooms at the modest hotel and setting tongues wagging. Their presence creates immediate ripples, rumors of investment opportunities and property speculation spreading faster than facts. When Maxwell's private jet touches down that afternoon, the town's power players scramble. Mayor Palmer personally greets him, eager to showcase Mapleton's potential while strategically steering him away from less desirable elements. Maxwell endures the welcome with professional politeness, already regretting the commitment. Seeking escape from the mayor's incessant chatter, Maxwell slips away to explore downtown alone. The small library catches his eye, a quiet refuge. Inside, stained glass casts colorful patterns across worn wooden floors as he wanders through hushed stacks, tension gradually easing from his shoulders. In the children's section, he discovers an elaborate Easter display featuring handcrafted book sculptures, bunnies and eggs emerging from open pages with remarkable artistry. Running his fingers over the intricate details, he doesn't notice Olivia approaching until she speaks. They're made from damaged books otherwise destined for recycling. Looking up, Maxwell encounters amber eyes regarding him curiously. Something about her direct gaze, neither starstruck nor calculating, catches him off guard. Maxwell straightens, automatically assuming his professional demeanor. The craftsmanship is exceptional. He introduces himself, expecting the familiar flicker of recognition or calculation. Instead, Olivia simply offers her name and explains she creates the sculptures for the library's programs. Their conversation shifts to the books themselves, Maxwell surprised to find himself discussing childhood favorites he'd nearly forgotten. When she recommends modern titles that echo those themes, he finds himself actually listening. For 20 minutes, neither his watch nor phone draws his attention, a rarity his executives would find shocking. Later, retrieving papers from his hotel room before meeting with local officials, Maxwell finds himself mentally replaying their conversation. Something about Olivia's unpretentious manner intrigues him, her evident passion for literature without the performative intellectualism he encounters at Manhattan fundraisers. Opening his laptop to review meeting notes, he instead searches for information about Mapleton Library's programs, discovering an article featuring Olivia's sculptures. The accompanying photo shows her surrounded by children, reading from a book while they gaze up entranced. He studies her expression, gentle animation so different from his world of strategic smiles and negotiation faces. That evening, enduring mind-numbing small talk at dinner with local business leaders, Maxwell makes his decision. The Easter Gala requires a companion. Finding someone in Manhattan means flying someone down, managing expectations, and inevitable gossip. A local option simplifies logistics. When conversation turns to the gala, he casually asks about the librarian who creates book sculptures. The table falls awkwardly silent before Mayor Palmer chuckles dismissively. Miss Reed? Certainly dedicated to children's programs, but hardly appropriate for social functions. His wife adds with practiced concern, she's rather reclusive. uncomfortable in formal settings. Something in their transparent manipulation solidifies Maxwell's decision. Her artistic talent impressed me. I'd like to invite her to accompany me to the gala. The following morning, Olivia arrives at the library to find Josephine uncharacteristically flustered. Maxwell Donovan was asking about you. The Maxwell Donovan. When Olivia responds with polite confusion, Josephine shows her the business magazine featuring his cover story. Recognition dawns. The interested visitor from yesterday wasn't just any tourist. Before she can process this information, the library door opens and Maxwell himself appears, purposeful despite the early hour. Approaching her desk with direct efficiency, he presents his unexpected invitation to the gala, explaining his admiration for her artwork and desire for intelligent conversation amid predictable networking. Olivia's initial instinct floods her with conflicting emotions. Disbelief. Why would someone like him invite someone like her? Suspicion. Is this some elaborate joke? Beneath these, unwelcome hope stirs, not romantic fantasy but simple human longing for inclusion. Years of rejection have taught her caution. That's very kind, but I'm afraid I must decline. The gala isn't really my setting. She doesn't elaborate on painful memories of previous attempts to attend town functions, the whispers and sudden empty chairs beside her. Maxwell, unaccustomed to rejection, finds himself unexpectedly disappointed and intrigued. May I ask why? The directness of his question, delivered without artifice, surprises her into unplanned honesty. Some people in this town made their opinions of me clear long ago. I've learned to avoid situations where my presence causes discomfort. Maxwell recognizes the careful dignity in her response, hearing echoes of his own carefully constructed defenses. Something shifts in his approach. Then we have something in common. I attend functions like this out of obligation, never pleasure. Perhaps we might endure it together, as mutual protection against tedious small talk. His unexpected humor catches her off guard, prompting a genuine smile that transforms her features. Still, she hesitates, you don't understand Mapleton dynamics. My presence beside you would raise questions. Perfect, he counters. Questions create distraction. While they're busy speculating about us, I can avoid detailed discussions about potential investments. For the first time, he shares his actual motivation. I'm being pressured to appear more settled, family-oriented. A respectable companion helps create that impression without complicating my actual life. His honesty offers an unexpected gift, acknowledgement that this arrangement serves his purposes without romantic pretense. Olivia considers this pragmatic proposal, weighing potential humiliation against the chance to attend an event showcasing her artwork for years, even if this year her pieces were rejected. I'll consider it, she finally answers, surprised by her own response. My beautiful family, if you're enjoying their journey so far, please hit that like button and subscribe to follow their story. The path from this first meeting to those miracle triplets takes more surprising turns than either Maxwell or Olivia could possibly imagine. And in our next section, we'll see just how dramatically their worlds begin to collide when Olivia makes her decision. Stay with me, family. That evening, Olivia paces her cottage, Ruby's words echoing, "Go! Wear something stunning. Show this town who you really are." Bethany had enthusiastically agreed, offering to help with preparations. Yet doubt persists. Years of careful emotional preservation threatened by one evening's potential humiliation. When her phone chimes with a text from an unknown number, she's startled. This is Maxwell Donovan. No pressure on your decision, but if helpful, car would collect you. Event lasts precisely 3 hours. No expectations beyond conversation. The straightforward message, oddly respectful of her boundaries, tips her decision. She responds simply, "I accept." News spreads through Mapleton with astonishing speed. By morning, Victoria Palmer arrives at the library, saccharine smile barely masking calculation. "Olivia, darling, heard you're attending the gala." Wonderful surprise. We'd love to include your centerpieces after all, such unique additions to our decor. Josephine watches with narrowed eyes as Olivia politely declines, explaining the pieces were already donated to the Children's Hospital. Victoria's smile hardens before she pivots. Well, fashion emergency, what will you wear? Nothing appropriate in Mapleton's shops, I fear. The deliberate undermining nearly succeeds until Bethany interrupts. Actually, my cousin owns a boutique in the city. Already arranged everything. Victoria retreats, but not before dropping her parting barb. Just trying to help, dear. These high-profile businessmen have certain expectations. Meanwhile, Maxwell faces unexpected scrutiny from his advance team. Local sources indicate Miss Reed is somewhat controversial, his head of security reports carefully. Nothing criminal, but significant social rejection following her father's malpractice case 15 years ago. The patient died, daughter of the former mayor. Maxwell dismisses their concerns, but Jackson presses him privately. This isn't Manhattan where controversy makes interesting dinner conversation. Small towns operate differently. Are you sure about this? For reasons Maxwell himself doesn't fully understand, he remains firm. She's intelligent, articulate, and creates remarkable art. Perfectly appropriate company. 3 days before the gala, tensions escalate dramatically. Olivia arrives at work to find her library desk covered with printouts of old newspaper articles detailing her father's case, red marker circling the most damaging accusations despite his eventual exoneration. Josephine immediately calls maintenance to remove them, face tight with anger. That afternoon, Olivia receives an anonymous email warning that her presence at the gala alongside Maxwell will ensure Quantum Innovations reconsiders Mapleton investments. The message concludes, "Don't hurt the town's future like your father hurt our families." When Maxwell learns about these incidents through Jackson's local contacts, cold fury replaces his usual calculated demeanor. His response surprises even himself. Instead of distancing from potential controversy, he doubles down. He arranges for additional security, contacts the library board with a substantial donation specifically praising Olivia's programs, and personally calls Mayor Palmer. Harassment of Mapleton residents significantly impacts my impression of local business culture, he states with dangerous pleasantness. Perhaps another location would better appreciate Quantum's investment approach. Palmer stammers assurances, suddenly desperate to address these unfortunate misunderstandings. The evening before the gala, Bethany helps Olivia prepare at her cottage, transforming her with a stunning emerald gown that complements her amber eyes. For the first time in years, Olivia allows herself to feel beautiful, watching her reflection with cautious wonder. Bethany confesses that Ruby and Josephine contributed to the dress, a gesture of solidarity that brings unexpected tears. As Bethany arranges her honey-brown waves, Olivia voices her deepest fear. What if I'm making a terrible mistake? 15 years carefully avoiding their judgment, and now deliberately walking into their spotlight. Bethany meets her eyes in the mirror. Maybe it's time they faced you instead. Across town in his hotel suite, Maxwell reviews investment proposals while ignoring increasingly curious texts from his executive team in New York. Photos of him with the mayor have already circulated in business publications, speculation about Quantum's expansion creating market buzz. His phone rings with his sister's distinctive tone, his only family connection, though more obligation than closeness. Tabloids say you're dating a small-town librarian, she begins without greeting. PR teams in meltdown. Maxwell feels uncharacteristic irritation. It's a business function, not a relationship. His sister laughs without humor. Since when do you personally escort anyone to business functions? Board's already speculating this means you're finally settling down. The conversation leaves him unsettled, realizing his simple solution has created unexpected complications. Gala morning dawns with Mapleton transformed by spring flowers and Easter decorations. The country club gleams with fresh paint and rented luxury, local elites desperate to impress their famous visitor. Maxwell wakes early, surprising himself by texting Olivia, Still comfortable with arrangements? Her response comes quickly, yes, though your comfort matters too given unexpected attention. Her consideration, so different from the self-interest he typically encounters, reinforces his decision. That evening, Maxwell's driver arrives at Olivia's cottage precisely on schedule. She emerges looking transformed, the emerald gown highlighting her natural grace, subtle makeup enhancing her features without masking them. For a moment, Maxwell finds himself genuinely speechless, struck by her authentic beauty amid a world of manufactured perfection. "You look remarkable," he offers simply. Her smile, still cautious but genuine, hints at the woman beneath years of protective walls. "Thank you for the invitation," she responds. "Regardless of what happens next, it was kind of you to ask." As they drive toward the country club, both sense approaching turbulence, neither fully prepared for the evening's potential consequences, yet somehow strengthened by their unexpected alliance. The Mapleton Country Club transforms under twinkling lights and elaborate Easter decorations, though Olivia immediately notices her centerpieces have been replaced with generic floral arrangements. Curious whispers follow their entrance, Maxwell Donovan in an impeccably tailored tuxedo escorting the town's most unexpected guest. Olivia walks beside him with quiet dignity despite trembling hands hidden in the folds of her emerald gown. Mayor Palmer intercepts them immediately, effusive welcome barely masking his anxiety. "Maxwell, delighted you brought Miss Reed. Such a valued member of our community." The falsehood hangs awkwardly as Victoria swoops in, diamond earrings flashing beneath calculated charm. "You must meet everyone," she insists, guiding them toward Mapleton's elite while subtly positioning herself between Maxwell and Olivia. Maxwell counters by gently placing his hand at the small of Olivia's back, a silent indication of their unified front. "Actually, I'd appreciate Olivia introducing me." Her perspective on the town seems refreshingly honest. The casual compliment straightens Olivia's posture slightly, courage gathering as Victoria's smile freezes. For the next half hour, they navigate social currents together, Maxwell deflecting investment questions while Olivia weathers thinly veiled remarks about her unexpected invitation. During dinner, seated at the head table despite Victoria's transparent attempts at rearrangement, Olivia notices Maxwell's subtle mannerisms, how he authentically engages whoever speaks directly to him regardless of their status, his genuine interest in the town's history beyond development potential, the way he ensures she's included in conversations despite attempts to exclude her. These small kindnesses contrast sharply with his reputation as a ruthless businessman. When the orchestra begins, Maxwell surprises her further by declining several prominent women's transparent hints for a dance, instead remaining beside her in comfortable conversation. "You dance beautifully," he observes as she watches wistfully while couples fill the floor. Startled by his perception, she admits, "I studied ballet until college. My mother insisted, posture and grace being essential feminine qualities." The hint of self-deprecating humor warms her expression. "Would you care to dance now?" he asks simply. Her hesitation is palpable. Everyone would stare. His unexpected smile transforms his usually serious features. "They're already staring. Might as well give them something worth watching." On the dance floor, they move together with surprising synchronicity. Maxwell leads confidently but respectfully, his hand proper yet supportive at her waist. For a moment, the whispers fade as they navigate the waltz, two people finding unexpected harmony amid social dissonance. "Thank you," she murmurs. When he raises an eyebrow in question, she elaborates, "for treating me like a person, not a curiosity or a scandal." Something shifts in his expression, recognition of shared experience perhaps. "I understand what it's like when people see your utility rather than your humanity." Their dance concludes as the orchestra pauses. Nearby, Ruby beams approval while Josephine offers a discreet thumbs up from the refreshment table. The moment of connection breaks when Mayor Palmer approaches with an elderly gentleman in tow. "Maxwell, Frederick Whitfield insists on meeting you, owns half the commercial property downtown." As Maxwell engages in obligatory conversation, Olivia excuses herself to the powder room, needing brief respite from scrutiny. In the elegant bathroom, she splashes cool water on her wrists, a calming technique her mother taught during childhood anxiety. The door swings open as Victoria enters with two committee members, apparently unaware of Olivia's presence in the partially concealed alcove. "Well, that backfired spectacularly," Victoria hisses. "He was supposed to bring someone from New York, not pick up a local charity case." The taller woman sniffs dismissively. "Don't worry, he's clearly using her to make a point. Men like that don't seriously entertain librarians from nowhere." The third woman's voice drops conspiratorially. "My husband says Donovan's team researched everyone in town. He probably chose her specifically to antagonize the old families after hearing the rumors." Olivia freezes, heart plummeting. The initial theory, that Maxwell selected her knowing her community standing, had crossed her mind, but hearing it confirmed stings unexpectedly sharply. The evening's connection suddenly feels hollow, his kindness merely strategic. As the women move deeper into the bathroom, Olivia slips out unnoticed, mind racing. Outside, she collides with Jackson Porter, Maxwell's right-hand man, who steadies her with concern. "Are you all right? You look pale." When she murmurs about needing air, he escorts her to a secluded terrace with unexpected kindness. "He's not what you think," Jackson offers unprompted, misreading her distress. The ruthless CEO persona, its protective coloration. Olivia remains silent as Jackson continues, "I've known him 15 years. He insisted on coming to this gala alone until he met you. Whatever his reasons for inviting you, they're genuine." When she remains unconvinced, Jackson hesitates before sharing something unexpected. He grew up in foster care. Never had family holidays like Easter. "I think he recognized something in you, someone else who understands what it means to stand outside looking in." This revelation strikes Olivia profoundly. The billionaire CEO with everything material harbors the same fundamental wound as herself: exclusion, loneliness, the struggle for belonging. Before she can process this, commotion erupts inside. Through the terrace doors, she witnesses Maxwell confronting Mayor Palmer, their heated discussion drawing attention despite lowered voices. Other executives from Quantum Innovations cluster nearby, expressions concerned as Maxwell gestures emphatically. When he turns toward the terrace, his face transforms with relief at seeing her. Something about his unguarded reaction makes Victoria's theory suddenly seem incomplete. "Everything all right?" he asks, joining her outside. When she nods uncertainly, he surprises her. "I apologize for leaving you alone so long. Mayor Palmer thought it appropriate to share certain historical perspectives about your family that he believed might inform my judgment about Mapleton Investments." The careful phrasing doesn't mask his evident displeasure. "I made it clear that attempting to malign respected community members reflects poorly on local leadership." Realization dawns. While she overheard gossip about Maxwell's motivations, he was defending her reputation. The contradiction leaves her momentarily speechless. Taking her silence as discomfort, he offers an unexpected option. "If you'd prefer to leave, my driver can take you home immediately." No questions asked. The sincerity in his offer, prioritizing her comfort over social appearances, contradicts everything Victoria implied. Standing at this crossroads, Olivia makes a decision that will alter both their lives, though neither yet realizes how significantly. "I'd like to stay," she answers, surprising herself with sudden clarity. "They've controlled the narrative about me for 15 years. Perhaps it's time for a different story." Maxwell's expression shifts with newfound respect. Returning inside, they face the curious crowd with renewed alliance. When Victoria approaches with transparent concern, "Olivia, dear, you disappeared so suddenly. Feeling overwhelmed?" Olivia responds with gentle firmness, "Not at all." Maxwell was sharing fascinating insights about community investment approaches that prioritize education. The library might benefit substantially. Throughout the remainder of the evening, a subtle transformation unfolds between them. Maxwell finds himself genuinely enjoying Olivia's perspective on Mapleton's history and potential, her intelligence extending far beyond library science. She observes him thoughtfully challenging local business leaders about wage disparities and educational access, concerns rarely associated with ruthless CEOs. Their conversation flows with increasing ease, punctuated by moments of unexpected laughter. During the charity auction, Maxwell bids aggressively on several educational initiatives, his substantial donations drawing appreciative murmurs. When a last-minute addition appears, a collection of Olivia's rejected centerpieces discovered in storage, Victoria announces them with transparent insincerity. The mayor's wife clearly expects embarrassment or minimal interest. Instead, Maxwell engages in a bidding war with Jackson, eventually securing the collection for an amount that causes audible gasps. "Your artistry deserves recognition," he tells Olivia quietly. "Besides, my office needs something with actual soul." As midnight approaches, Maxwell notices Olivia suppressing a yawn. "The benefit of being the most important guest," he murmurs, "is dictating departure timing." Their exit prompts hasty farewells from the committee, Mayor Palmer's handshake notably anxious as Maxwell mentions following up about community integration concerns. In the car, comfortable silence settles between them until Olivia speaks. "Thank you for this evening. Whatever your original reasons for inviting me, you were kind when you didn't need to be." Maxwell considers her words carefully before responding. "I invited you because you were the first person in Mapleton who spoke to me as a human being rather than a potential investor." The simple truth hangs between them as they arrive at her cottage. Walking her to the door, Maxwell hesitates, business instincts warring with unexpected personal connection. "I'm returning to New York tomorrow, but I'd like to continue our conversation. Perhaps dinner next weekend? I could fly down Friday evening." The invitation surprises them both. His schedule rarely accommodates personal detours. Olivia studies him in the porch light, searching for calculation but finding only genuine interest. "I'd like that," she answers finally. Their good night remains formally appropriate, a handshake that lingers perhaps a moment longer than strictly necessary. After he leaves, Olivia stands in her living room, emerald dress luminous in the dim light, processing the evening's emotional turbulence. Something fundamental has shifted, though neither has acknowledged it explicitly. For the first time in years, possibility whispers louder than caution. 2 days after returning to New York, Maxwell finds himself distracted during executive meetings, amber eyes and thoughtful perspectives repeatedly interrupting financial projections. He arranges a video call with Mapleton's library board under the pretext of educational investment, privately pleased when Olivia appears among the participants. Their brief exchange remains professionally appropriate, though her genuine smile triggers an unfamiliar warmth. Later, signing documents in his penthouse, Maxwell scrolls through property listings in Mapleton, a speculative business consideration, he tells himself unconvincingly. Meanwhile, Olivia navigates unexpected aftermath in Mapleton. Ruby reports increased patronage at the library, everyone curious about the woman who captivated Maxwell Donovan, while Mayor Palmer makes awkward overtures about including her in community planning discussions. Victoria remains coolly civil during a chance encounter at the grocery store, though whispers that Maxwell's interest was clearly business-related circulate strategically. Olivia guards her emotions carefully, years of self-protection warring with fragile hope. Their dinner plans face unexpected complication when business news announces Quantum's potential acquisition of major competitor Tech Fusion, a volatile negotiation requiring Maxwell's complete attention. His apologetic call disappoints Olivia despite her understanding. 3 days later, a delivery arrives at the library, a first-edition copy of her favorite childhood novel with a handwritten note, raincheck requested. Dinner when acquisition chaos settles. The thoughtful gesture, revealing his attention to details of their conversation, sparks something deeper than simple attraction. As Maxwell navigates high-stakes corporate warfare in Manhattan boardrooms, Thoughts of a yellow cottage and genuine smile provide unexpected sanctuary. Neither realizes yet how their casual connection has already altered both their trajectories, nor how dramatically their worlds will continue to collide as Easter ends and spring deepens into transformative summer. Spring blossoms into early summer as Maxwell and Olivia navigate their unexpected connection through texts, occasional calls, and one brief weekend visit interrupted repeatedly by business emergencies. The Tech Fusion acquisition consumes Maxwell's days and nights, his executive team noting uncharacteristic distraction during critical meetings. When Jackson discovers Mapleton real estate listings open on Maxwell's laptop, his raised eyebrow prompts uncharacteristic defensiveness, preliminary investment research. Jackson wisely remains silent, though his knowing smile irritates Maxwell inexplicably. In Mapleton, Olivia experiences whiplash-inducing social recalibration. Suddenly included in conversations at Ruby's diner, receiving invitations to community functions that previously excluded her, she recognizes the transparent motivation, access to Maxwell through her. 15 years invisible, now suddenly I'm everyone's potential connection to prosperity, she confides to Bethany while arranging summer reading program displays. Victoria Palmer appears at the library with photographer in tow, insisting on documenting our dedicated librarian's contribution to literacy for the town newsletter, the same newsletter that previously cropped Olivia from group photos. 6 weeks after the gala, Maxwell finally extracts himself from acquisition chaos, arranging a proper weekend visit to Mapleton. Their Friday dinner at the only upscale restaurant in town creates immediate speculation. Maxwell, accustomed to Manhattan anonymity, finds himself unsettled by obvious stares and poorly concealed photographs. Olivia maintains graceful composure, gently redirecting conversation whenever he tenses. Small towns run on gossip economics, she explains. We're currently the highest value currency. Their shared laughter draws even more attention, which they deliberately ignore. Saturday morning brings unexpected battle lines when Maxwell arrives to take Olivia hiking in nearby hills. Mayor Palmer intercepts them outside her cottage, effusively inviting Maxwell to golf with the boys from the Chamber of Commerce, perfect opportunity to discuss development potential. When Maxwell declines politely, mentioning prior arrangements with Olivia, Palmer's dismissive glance in her direction triggers something protective in Maxwell. Actually, he amends coolly, I've been looking forward to this hike all week. Olivia knows these trails intimately, local expertise being invaluable in any environment. Their hillside picnic offers breathtaking valley views and rare privacy. Surrounded by wildflowers and distant birdsong, conversation flows naturally from books to business philosophy to childhood dreams. Maxwell finds himself sharing fragments of foster care memories he typically keeps buried. Holidays spent with temporary families trying to incorporate the new kid, his determination to build something permanent when nothing else was. Olivia listens without pity, offering her own experiences of community exclusion and the sanctuary she found in literature. Books became my consistent friends, she admits. Characters who couldn't reject me. The weekend concludes with reluctant goodbye at her cottage door, neither quite willing to define their relationship yet both recognizing its growing significance. I have board meetings through Wednesday, but could return Thursday evening? Maxwell suggests, shocked by his own eagerness to rearrange his typically immovable schedule. Olivia's smile warms him more than strictly reasonable. I'll make dinner, she offers. Nothing elaborate, but better than your hotel restaurant. Their goodbye includes a brief, tentative kiss, simple but laden with unspoken possibility. Returning to New York, Maxwell faces increasing scrutiny from his executive team. During Monday's strategy session, Marketing Director Vivian presents consumer research showing Quantum's reputation improvement since Maxwell's public relationship began. The humanizing effect is significant, she notes, displaying graphs illustrating favorability metrics. The billionaire finding love in small-town America narrative resonates powerfully with both investors and consumers. Maxwell bristles at the commodification of his personal life. This isn't a marketing strategy. Vivian continues undeterred. Of course not, but leveraging existing public interest simply maximizes beneficial outcomes. Maxwell ends the discussion abruptly, uncomfortable with Olivia being reduced to corporate advantage. Thursday's return to Mapleton brings unexpected complications when Maxwell's helicopter lands amid gathering storm clouds. Town officials greet him with transparent agenda, walking maps highlighting potential development locations, tax incentive proposals, community partnership opportunities. He navigates these diplomatic obligations efficiently before escaping to Olivia's cottage, where the promised dinner awaits. The normalcy of her kitchen, mismatched plates, homemade bread, simple pasta sauce simmering, provides unexpected relief from corporate calculation. Their evening unfolds in comfortable domesticity until his phone erupts with emergency alerts. TechFusion's board has unexpectedly reconsidered Quantum's offer, entertaining a competitive bid. His team needs him immediately for crisis response. The disappointment in Olivia's eyes when he explains the situation strikes him more deeply than anticipated. "I understand," she assures him with practiced grace that somehow makes it worse. Their goodbye remains warm but tinged with mutual recognition of incompatible realities. His world of urgent corporate demands versus her rooted stability. Back in Manhattan, Maxwell throws himself into saving the acquisition with characteristic intensity. 3 sleepless days later, victorious but exhausted, he finds himself staring at twinkling city lights from his penthouse window. Automatic investment in corporate battles once energized him. Now victory feels strangely hollow. Calling Olivia, he finds himself apologizing again for interrupted plans. Her understanding response triggers unexpected frustration, not with her patience but with the relentless system he's created that necessitates it. 2 weeks pass with communication limited to brief texts and shorter calls. Olivia begins summer reading programs, sending Maxwell photos of children enjoying activities he helped fund. He finds himself studying her messages for signs of withdrawal or resentment, unsettled to realize how much her opinion matters. When Mayor Palmer calls directly to his private line, just checking on Quantum's timeline for Mapleton investment decisions, Maxwell recognizes the transparent attempt to leverage his personal connection to Olivia for business advantage. The manipulation strengthens his resolve to separate their relationship from corporate interests. Early August brings crisis from unexpected direction. Victoria Palmer orchestrates a coincidental lunch with financial journalists visiting Mapleton, casually mentioning Olivia and Maxwell's relationship while suggesting insider knowledge about Quantum's investment plans. The resulting business blog speculation creates immediate problems: stock fluctuations, board concerns about information leaks, legal questions about potential securities violations. Maxwell's team scrambles to issue appropriate denials while he faces uncomfortable questions about whether personal entanglements compromise his judgment. Jackson defends him privately, the board's overreacting. This small-town gossip hardly constitutes material disclosure. But the damage extends beyond corporate governance. Maxwell must now explain to Olivia why their connection has become potential legal liability. Their phone conversation that evening proves excruciating, clinical language of reputational risk and disclosure concerns replacing natural warmth. Olivia listens quietly before responding with characteristic directness. "You need distance from me right now." "I understand." Her calm acceptance somehow feels worse than anger would. 2 days later, photos appear online showing Maxwell having dinner with a famous actress in Manhattan, captioned with speculation about his return to high-profile dating. The orchestrated damage control, suggested by public relations to counter investment rumors, achieves its corporate purpose while creating personal devastation. Seeing the images, Olivia recognizes the strategic calculation, the necessary sacrifice of their undefined relationship for business stability. She sends a single text, "I hope this helps resolve your situation." His attempted explanation goes unanswered. September arrives with autumn colors beginning to touch Mapleton trees. Olivia throws herself into expanded library programming, her professional accomplishments featured in regional education journals. Maxwell watches from distance, pride mixing with regret as corporate pressure gradually subsides. When quarterly planning requires decisions about potential expansion locations, he deliberately removes himself from Mapleton discussions, citing potential conflict of interest. The board interprets this as confirmation their CEO has moved past his small-town distraction, approving his focus on international markets instead. Late September brings unexpected confrontation when Ruby corners Maxwell during his unannounced visit to Mapleton. Finding him contemplating Olivia's empty desk at the library, a scheduled conference taking her to neighboring town, Ruby dispenses with pleasantries. "She's managing just fine without you, but that doesn't mean she shouldn't have to." Startled by her directness, Maxwell attempts corporate deflection until Ruby cuts him off. Save the billionaire doublespeak. "That woman saw something real in you when nobody else bothered. Question is whether you're brave enough to see something real in yourself." She leaves him considering her words, discomfort growing as he recognizes uncomfortable truth in her assessment. That evening, Olivia returns from her conference to find Maxwell waiting on her porch steps, unexpected vulnerability evident in his posture. Seeing him, tailored suit incongruous against weathered wood, uncertainty replacing typical confidence, she hesitates before joining him. Their silence stretches until he speaks. "The acquisition concluded today. Tech Fusion officially joins Quantum's portfolio. Textbook successful integration." She nods politely, professional congratulations ready until he continues, "I should feel triumphant. Instead, I realized I wanted to share the news with you more than anyone else. That matters, Olivia. You matter." His uncharacteristic emotional transparency catches her off guard. She studies him carefully, professional armor still protecting from potential hurt. "Maxwell, your world operates by different rules than mine. I've accepted that." He meets her gaze directly. "What if I'm questioning those rules?" Moving closer, he admits thoughts he's barely acknowledged himself. "I've spent 20 years building something I believed would finally make me belong somewhere. Yet I'm surrounded by people calculating my utility rather than valuing my humanity. Exactly what you described that first day in the library." Something breaks open between them, honesty without strategic advantage, vulnerability without manipulation. Olivia shares her own realizations. "After you left, Victoria invited me to every committee. Mayor Palmer consults me about cultural programming. I'm finally receiving the acceptance I craved for 15 years, and discovered it feels hollow because it's not about me at all." Her smile holds sadness and wisdom equally. "We're both outsiders who learned different adaptations. You built an empire to prove your worth. I created sanctuary in books and art. Neither fully worked." Their conversation continues inside her cottage, cups of tea cooling as they navigate deeper waters. Maxwell describes growing emptiness despite escalating success, achievements that once satisfied now ringing hollow. The Tech Fusion acquisition adds billions to Quantum's valuation. 20 years ago, that number would have felt like vindication for the kid nobody wanted. Now it feels like more weight, not fulfillment. Olivia listens without judgment, offering neither easy platitudes nor dismissal of legitimate accomplishment. Her attentiveness itself becomes gift, space to question without risking corporate perception of weakness. Later, Maxwell examines photographs decorating her bookshelves, parents smiling in earlier times, Olivia graduating college, small moments of joy preserved. "You've built beauty despite pain," he observes. "Created meaning rather than just accumulation." Olivia considers this, not by choice initially. "Exclusion forced me to find value beyond external validation." They recognize parallel journeys from different directions, both searching for belonging, security, validation through different means. Maxwell touches her hand tentatively. "I've missed our conversations." "Missed you." Their reconnection remains cautious, past wounds creating careful boundaries despite mutual attraction. Maxwell shares complex truths about corporate pressures surrounding their relationship. The board simultaneously wanted humanizing publicity while fearing appearance of distraction. "I handled it poorly," prioritizing damage control over honesty with you. Olivia acknowledges her own protection mechanisms. I assumed your world would eventually take precedence. Easier to withdraw preemptively than risk deeper rejection. Their shared recognition of defensive patterns creates new foundation, understanding rather than assumptions. Morning brings difficult practical questions about navigating forward. Maxwell's obligations require Manhattan presence. Olivia's life remains rooted in Mapleton despite complicated history. Over breakfast, they discuss realistic possibilities rather than romantic fantasies. Weekend visits, schedule coordination, communication expectations. I'm not asking you to abandon your company, Olivia assures him. That achievement matters. Represents security you earned. Maxwell weighs corporate realities against emerging priorities. Some responsibilities can be delegated. Others require my presence. Finding proper balance seems possible with sufficient motivation. They spend the day together in simple activities. Farmers market wandering, helping Bethany arrange bakery displays, quiet reading in afternoon sunlight streaming through library windows. Ordinary moments revealing extraordinary potential for shared life. That evening, walking along Mapleton's riverside path as sunset paints clouds in amber and gold, Maxwell faces question that's been forming since their reconnection: what defines enough? Olivia considers thoughtfully, different answer for different souls. For me, enough means purpose, meaningful connection, creating more beauty than was there before. Her answer resonates with emerging clarity in his own questioning. Before returning to New York, Maxwell makes unprecedented decision to block 4 consecutive weekends for Mapleton visits. Priority scheduling his assistant receives with raised eyebrows but implementation without comment. Their goodbye includes mutual acknowledgement of uncertain path forward, yet commitment to exploration without predetermined outcome. We'll figure this out together, he promises. Her smile, genuine, hopeful but realistic, stays with him during return flight to Manhattan's waiting demands. October unfolds with cautious rhythm establishing between their worlds. Maxwell arranges video calls between meetings, finding moments of connection amid corporate chaos. Olivia sends packages containing small treasures, local maple syrup, photographs of autumn colors, handcrafted bookmarks embedding pressed flowers from her garden. Weekend visits create space for deepening understanding. Maxwell gradually revealing layers beneath corporate persona, Olivia sharing creative dreams beyond library walls. Their differences remain significant yet increasingly complementary rather than contradictory. Beautiful souls, have you ever reached that crossroads in a relationship where you must decide whether to protect your heart or risk everything for connection? That vulnerable moment Maxwell and Olivia are navigating speaks to something universal in all of us: the fear of rejection battling with desire for authentic connection. Have you experienced this journey from guarded interaction to vulnerable truth? I'd love to hear your stories in the comments below. If you're invested in Maxwell and Olivia's journey, please hit that like button and subscribe for the continuation of their story. We're approaching the most transformative moments of their unexpected love story, where everything they thought they understood about themselves and each other will be challenged. The path to those miracle triplets takes its most dramatic turn in our next section. Late October brings unexpected proposal from Maxwell's board, potential partnership with global tech giant requiring extended international negotiations. The opportunity represents career pinnacle, validation, expansion, legacy-cementing achievement requiring 6 months minimum in Tokyo and Singapore. Simultaneously, Mapleton Library receives prestigious grant funding. Olivia's proposal for innovative community art center, professional dream requiring dedicated local presence for successful implementation. Their Friday evening call begins with sharing respective exciting news, mutual congratulations flowing naturally until implications crystallize. As autumn winds scatter golden leaves across Mapleton streets, Maxwell reaches decision that surprises his executive team while Olivia contemplates options that challenge her established safety. Neither yet realizes how completely their lives will transform within weeks, nor how a snowstorm, a missed flight, and an impulsive Christmas proposal will catapult them toward unexpected parenthood and the miracle neither dared imagine possible, a family uniquely their own. November's international business meetings keep Maxwell flying between continents while Olivia immerses herself in art center planning. Their relationship develops through late-night calls across time zones, shared documents outlining respective projects, and occasional surprise deliveries. Gourmet coffee arriving at his Tokyo hotel room, leather-bound Japanese poetry appearing on her cottage doorstep. Despite distance, connection deepens through vulnerability rather than proximity. During one exhausted 3 a.m. video call, Maxwell confesses growing disillusionment with corporate achievement. "I've spent my life proving I deserve a place at tables that ultimately don't matter to me." Olivia listens without judgment, creating space for questions he's never voiced aloud. December arrives with unexpected complication. Maxwell's required presence at simultaneous meetings in Singapore and New York creates impossible scheduling conflict. When he delegates the Singapore negotiations to Jackson despite board pressure, prioritizing return to Manhattan, corporate whispers intensify about his shifting focus. Board Chairman Franklin calls directly, "There's concern about your commitment level, Maxwell. Partnerships of this magnitude require undivided attention." The implied questioning of his professional judgment would once have triggered immediate course correction. Instead, Maxwell responds with uncharacteristic directness, 20 years of undivided attention built quantum. "My judgment now includes recognizing when delegation serves company interests better than personal presence." 3 days before Christmas, Maxwell lands in New York amid worsening weather forecasts. His plan, critical board presentation followed by private jet to Mapleton for holidays, faces immediate threat when mechanical issues ground his aircraft. Simultaneous airport closures due to approaching blizzard eliminate commercial options. Standing in his Manhattan penthouse watching snow begin, Maxwell feels familiar resignation, another commitment to Olivia disrupted by circumstances beyond control. Their phone conversation brings her understanding but clear disappointment. "The children's Christmas reading program starts tomorrow. Your presence would have meant everything to them, to me." Something shifts within Maxwell as he ends the call, clarity crystallizing through accumulating frustrations. 20 minutes later, his security team receives unprecedented instruction: "Find me transportation to Mapleton. Immediately. Whatever it takes." What follows becomes legendary among his staff. Maxwell Donovan, calculating CEO renowned for measured decisions, embarking on borderline reckless journey through developing blizzard conditions. When airports close completely, he secures last-minute train ticket to Albany. When rail service suspends due to weather, he convinces reluctant driver to attempt partial highway journey. When roads become impassable, he continues with retired emergency services volunteer navigating back routes in specialized vehicle. In Mapleton, Olivia leads Christmas Eve reading program at library transformed by twinkling lights and children's excitement. Each special edition book contains personal inscription, her tradition ensuring every child feels individually valued. Midway through How the Grinch Stole Christmas, the library door opens, bringing swirl of snowflakes and unlikely figure. Maxwell Donovan, normally impeccable appearance disheveled from travel, snow dusting his hair and shoulders, exhaustion evident but determination stronger. Children stare curiously while Olivia momentarily loses her place in familiar text. Their eyes meet across room decorated with paper snowflakes and homemade ornaments, unexpected tears threatening her composure. Maxwell moves quietly to back row, melting into parent audience without disruption. Olivia continues reading, voice steadying though her hands tremble slightly turning pages. When program concludes with hot chocolate service, Maxwell approaches through dispersing families. Before explanations or greetings, he speaks with uncharacteristic directness. 39 hours of alternative transportation methods through blizzard conditions provided unexpected clarity. His smile, genuine, unguarded, transforms his tired features. "I've spent my life constructing systems that can function without me, then refusing to trust them to operate independently." The board meeting proceeded perfectly via video conference. Jackson successfully negotiated preliminary terms in Singapore. Yet I believed only personal presence demonstrated proper commitment. Olivia studies him closely, understanding dawning. You risked safety to reach a children's reading program? Maxwell takes her hands, public setting forgotten. I risked nothing compared to possibility of losing this, losing us. Financial empires rise and fall daily. Connections like ours prove infinitely rarer. Around them, library slowly empties, volunteers discreetly creating privacy through purposeful busyness. Snow continues falling beyond windows, insulating moment in peaceful white cocoon. The international expansion represents everything I've worked toward professionally, Maxwell continues. Yet facing potential choice between that achievement and building life with you clarified actual priorities with unprecedented simplicity. Reaching into travel-worn coat, he produces small velvet box. Not kneeling but standing as equals, he offers it with hands steadier than circumstance should allow. I arrived at completely illogical conclusion amid rational analysis. Corporate diversification strategies pale compared to possibilities of us as partners navigating life together. Opening box reveals emerald ring, exact shade matching gala dress from their beginning. Marriage represents commitment I never anticipated making, yet now seems only sensible foundation for whatever comes next. Would you consider building something permanent together? Olivia's response comes not as simple acceptance but thoughtful consideration. You've appended your life reaching me tonight. I need certainty this represents genuine desire rather than adrenaline-fueled impulse. Maxwell nods, respecting her caution. Consider this down payment on lifelong conversation about balancing rational planning with occasional beautiful impulsivity. I've analyzed this decision more thoroughly than any corporate acquisition. Conclusion remains identical regardless of methodology. Her smile breaks through carefully maintained composure. Then yes. Absolutely yes. Their embrace amid library Christmas decorations, witnessed by remaining volunteers pretending not to notice, marks transition beyond tentative connection into committed partnership. Later that night, walking through snow-covered streets toward her cottage, they discuss practical realities. Maintaining dual residences initially, integrating professional obligations with personal priorities, navigating public attention inevitable once their engagement becomes known. Yet beneath pragmatic planning runs current of certainty neither expected to discover, recognition of having found home in one another despite improbable circumstances. January brings swift changes as news of their engagement spreads through both worlds. Maxwell's executive team receives announcement with reactions ranging from genuine congratulations to transparent calculation about potential corporate advantages. The board calls emergency meeting discussing succession planning and leadership transition, language Maxwell recognizes as questioning his continuing commitment. Rather than defensive justification, he approaches their concerns directly. My personal happiness strengthens rather than compromises my professional judgment. Testing this theory empirically seems reasonable approach. His handling of international negotiations demonstrates this integration, delegating appropriate components while maintaining strategic oversight, returning to Manhattan for critical decision points while trusting team capabilities between interventions. When quarterly profits exceed projections despite his modified schedule, skepticism gradually yields to cautious acceptance. Jackson observes change during late-night strategy session. You're still driving results, but not at expense of everything else. Somehow that's making you more effective, not less. Maxwell considers this assessment. Perhaps effectiveness stems from clarity about actual priorities rather than attempting simultaneous mastery of everything. Olivia faces different transformation challenges. Mapleton's social hierarchy performs predictable recalibration, invitations suddenly multiplying, Victoria Palmer appearing with wedding venue suggestions despite previous years of exclusion. Initial discomfort with attention gradually yields to quiet confidence as Olivia establishes boundaries. I appreciate renewed interest in community inclusion, though timing raises questions about motivation. Her directness, once carefully suppressed to avoid further rejection, emerges as strength rather than liability. When local newspaper requests engagement announcement featuring Mapleton's surprising love story, she negotiates terms ensuring Art Center receives equal coverage. Their February wedding plans reflect mutual transformation, Maxwell insisting on Mapleton's ceremony despite corporate pressure for Manhattan extravaganza, Olivia overcoming reluctance about public celebration to embrace joy without apology. Together they design intimate gathering combining elegance with accessibility, library transformed by professional decorators yet preserving its essential character, guest list balancing business associates with local community. Victoria angles unsuccessfully for committee leadership. Mayor Palmer's transparent networking attempts receive polite redirection rather than accommodation. Spring wedding preparations coincide with Art Center development, Olivia's professional passion expanding beyond library walls into community space combining educational programming with creative expression. Maxwell contributes financial resources while respecting her leadership vision, offering business expertise without imposing control. Their collaboration extends beyond personal relationship into complementary partnership leveraging respective strengths. When Quantum opens satellite office in building adjacent to Art Center, speculation about corporate takeover meets Maxwell's direct clarification. Investment in promising communities represents sound business strategy. Investment in promising relationships represents sound life strategy. April wedding celebrations arrive amid cherry blossoms and community transformation, Mapleton gradually evolving from rigid social hierarchies into more inclusive environment, Maxwell's corporate world adapting to leader who prioritizes balance alongside achievement. Standing together beneath library rotunda transformed by spring flowers and suspended book sculptures, they exchange vows reflecting journey from isolation to connection. Olivia promises partnership honoring both independent strength and mutual vulnerability. Maxwell commits to presence extending beyond physical proximity into genuine emotional availability. Their honeymoon, 2 weeks in countryside cottage without devices or interruptions, represents final transition from separate existences into unified life. Returning to implementation phase of merged priorities, they establish sustainable rhythm between Manhattan penthouse and expanded Mapleton cottage, professional obligations and personal connection. By summer, Maxwell has restructured Quantum leadership allowing strategic oversight without constant presence. Olivia expands arts programming while maintaining library connection. Their evolving dynamic demonstrates unexpected truth, authentic partnership enhancing rather than compromising individual capabilities. October brings unexpected discovery. Pregnancy test confirming news that simultaneously terrifies and exhilarates them both. Neither having experienced nurturing family models, they approach parenthood with characteristic combination of thorough research and emotional courage. First ultrasound appointment delivers stunning revelation. Not single heartbeat but 3 distinct signatures pulsing on medical monitor. Triplets. The probability seems statistically improbable. Fertility unassisted by medical intervention producing multiple pregnancy in woman past 35. Maxwell, typically analytical, finds himself speechless before monitor while Olivia's laughter bubbles through tears. Of course we wouldn't do anything conventionally. The pregnancy announcement creates final resolution to lingering conflicts within both worlds. Maxwell's board, previously concerned about divided attention, discovers CEO functioning with remarkable efficiency despite impending fatherhood, delegation skills improving alongside strategic focus. Corporate leadership transitions smoothly into collaborative model with Maxwell maintaining visionary direction while empowering executive team implementation. The Singapore partnership, once viewed as requiring his constant oversight, flourishes under shared management approach combining his insight with Jackson's operational excellence. In Mapleton, Olivia's pregnancy generates genuine rather than strategic community engagement, previous rejection patterns dissolving through authentic connection rather than status calculation. Victoria Palmer organizes baby shower without manipulative agenda, Mayor Palmer's wife visibly recalibrating her approach upon discovering Olivia's influence stems from personal quality rather than married status. When high-risk pregnancy designation requires temporary leadership reassignment at library and art center, community volunteers step forward without hesitation, genuine support replacing years of exclusion. Their marriage navigates pregnancy challenges with strengthening bond rather than mounting stress. Maxwell adapts business schedule entirely around medical appointments, rescheduling international meetings without apology when Olivia's condition requires monitoring. Corporate world gradually adjusts expectations upon receiving his unequivocal message. Family establishes non-negotiable priority. Business adapts accordingly. His dedication prompts organizational cultural shift. Other executives gradually implementing family supportive policies previously dismissed as impractical within high-pressure environment. Olivia's pregnancy progresses with medical complications requiring extended bed rest during final trimester. Their living arrangement consolidates temporarily in Mapleton Cottage. Maxwell establishing remote work systems bringing Manhattan operations to small-town setting. The image of billionaire CEO conducting international negotiations from makeshift office in spare bedroom while preparing healthy meals between calls demonstrates transformation complete. Ambition remaining intact while priorities fundamentally realigned. During particularly challenging medical scare, Maxwell cancels quarterly investors' meeting entirely. Action unthinkable year earlier. Explaining simply, replaceable meetings versus irreplaceable moments present straightforward calculation. March brings simultaneous culmination of personal journey and beginning of unexpected chapter. 3 healthy babies arriving after complicated delivery requiring Olivia's tremendous strength and Maxwell's unwavering support. 2 daughters and son emerge into world backed by improbable love story defying conventional patterns. Standing beside hospital bed watching Olivia hold their children, Maxwell recognizes fulfillment transcending any corporate achievement. Connection creating meaning beyond accumulation or status. Witnessing transformation in man previously defined by professional identity alone, Jackson observes quietly, "Fatherhood suits you better than CEO title ever did." Their return home, Mapleton Cottage expanded to accommodate growing family, draws community support transcending previous social boundaries. Former detractors arrive with home-cooked meals. Ruby organizes volunteer rotation helping with triplets demands. Bethany converts bakery section into temporary diaper supply station. The transformation extends beyond individual relationship into community fabric. Olivia's lifelong exclusion healing through genuine inclusion. Maxwell's isolated achievement evolving into connected purpose. 6 months later, Maxwell rocks triplets while conducting board meeting via video conference. Corporate adaptation continuing alongside personal evolution. Quantum success accelerates despite his modified involvement. Perhaps because of rather than despite leadership approach modeling wholeness rather than workaholism. The babies, Elizabeth Ruby after librarian mentors, William Jackson honoring trusted friend, and Grace Joy celebrating unexpected miracle, represent bridge between worlds previously considered incompatible. The journey from lonely Easter to family wholeness completes through unlikely connection between soul society overlooked for different reasons, rejection and isolation paradoxically preparing them for recognition of authentic value beyond external validation. Their story transforms from improbable beginning into testament that belonging emerges not from proving worthiness to others but creating space where mutual recognition flourishes. As autumn returns to Mapleton, Maxwell and Olivia sit on porch swing watching leaves turn golden, triplets sleeping nearby, their improbable path from separate loneliness to shared fullness demonstrating love's capacity for unexpected redemption. 3 years after the triplets' arrival, Maxwell and Olivia sit together on their expanded porch, watching Elizabeth, William, and Grace chase fireflies across the twilight lawn. Their home, the original yellow cottage thoughtfully enlarged rather than replaced, stands as physical manifestation of their shared philosophy, honoring foundations while embracing growth. Nearby, Quantum's regional headquarters operates with innovative work-life integration policies that business publications now regularly feature. The Arts Center thrives under rotating leadership, allowing Olivia part-time involvement while prioritizing family needs. Remember when I measured success exclusively through acquisition value? Maxwell muses, hand interlaced with Olivia's as triplets squeal with delight at captured lightning bugs. The man who once tracked every market fluctuation now tracks developmental milestones with greater attention. William's first complete sentence, Elizabeth's remarkable vocabulary, Grace's determined problem-solving approach. His definition of achievement has fundamentally transformed, not abandoned ambition but recalibrated its purpose and measurement. Olivia watches their children with wonder still fresh despite sleepless nights and constant chaos. "I spent years believing rejection defined my value," she reflects. "Now I understand it merely revealed others' limitations, not mine." Her relationship with Mapleton has evolved into complex peace, no longer seeking approval yet graciously accepting genuine connection when offered. The library reading program she built continues thriving under her occasional guidance, her book sculpture techniques now taught through art center workshops empowering others facing similar exclusion. Their marriage demonstrates neither fairy tale perfection nor simplistic compromise, but genuine partnership navigating inevitable challenges. Maxwell still works intensely during focused hours while maintaining firm boundaries protecting family time. Olivia still values solitude and quiet creativity while embracing the beautiful noise three toddlers inevitably create. Together they've constructed relationship honoring individual needs alongside shared values, model neither expected to discover. The triplets themselves reflect this integrated approach, Elizabeth inheriting Maxwell's analytical precision alongside Olivia's artistic sensitivity, William combining his father's determined focus with his mother's compassionate awareness, Grace embodying unexpected blend of both temperaments into wholly unique personality. Their development fascinates Maxwell beyond any corporate achievement, watching three distinct individuals emerge from shared beginning, nurturing their differences rather than imposing predetermined expectations. Parenthood has transformed both adults in ways neither anticipated. Maxwell, once requiring constant control, learns daily lessons in flexibility when three strong-willed toddlers simultaneously pursue contradictory agendas. Olivia, previously protecting herself through careful isolation, discovers strength in vulnerability as she navigates inevitable parenting uncertainties. Together they model authentic growth for children who will develop their own approaches to life's challenges. Had anyone described this future during that Easter gala, "I would have calculated statistical improbability to several decimal places," Maxwell observes, watching fireflies illuminate gathering darkness. Olivia smiles, remembering their journey's beginning. Sometimes the least probable outcomes prove most meaningful. Their shared perspective, balancing analytical assessment with emotional openness, creates foundation for family thriving beyond conventional measures of success or traditional patterns of belonging. Their story embodies truth often overlooked in culture, celebrating either ruthless ambition or perfect relationship narratives. Authentic connection requires willing vulnerability rather than flawless circumstances. Maxwell discovered belonging not through achievement accumulation, but willingness to risk certainty for possibility. Olivia found acceptance not through community approval, but creating space where genuine self-expression flourished regardless of external judgment. This journey offers essential reminder that rejection often reveals more about rejectors than those rejected. Maxwell's childhood abandonment reflected systemic failure rather than personal unworthiness. Olivia's community exclusion demonstrated small-town politics rather than individual inadequacy. Their eventual thriving emerged not from proving critics wrong, but recognizing that others' limitations need not determine personal possibilities. Perhaps most powerfully, their experience illustrates that loneliness, Maxwell's empty penthouse, Olivia's isolated cottage, can paradoxically prepare souls for profound connection. Years navigating separate forms of exclusion developed resilience, ultimately allowing trust beyond conventional expectations. Their initially practical arrangement blossomed precisely because both recognized relationship value beyond strategic advantage or social validation. Their story challenges fundamental assumption that compatible backgrounds predict relationship success. Their dramatically different circumstances, corporate power versus small-town obscurity, wealth versus modesty, global influence versus local focus, ultimately provided complementary strengths rather than insurmountable obstacles. This unlikely connection reminds us that human hearts often recognize possibilities that logical assessment might dismiss as impractical. For viewers navigating their own forms of loneliness, rejection, or unfulfilling achievement, Maxwell and Olivia's journey offers gentle challenge. What walls of protection might actually prevent desired connection? What perceived limitations might contain hidden gifts preparing for unexpected possibilities? Their transformation suggests that life's greatest fulfillment often arrives through pathways we neither planned nor anticipated, requiring courage to pursue connection even when past experience counsels caution. Beautiful souls within our story family, I share Maxwell and Olivia's journey because it echoes experiences many of us navigate daily. How many of you have felt like Olivia, judged unfairly by circumstances beyond your control, excluded from communities that should offer belonging? Or perhaps you recognize yourself in Maxwell, achieving external success while inner emptiness whispers that something essential remains missing? Their struggle with vulnerability reflects universal human challenge, balancing self-protection against connection needs. We all construct walls after painful experiences. Their story reminds us that sometimes those very walls prevent the healing we most deeply seek. The courage required to lower those defenses, whether Maxwell risking his carefully constructed professional identity or Olivia risking further rejection, mirrors choices many of us face in relationships that matter. The workplace dynamics Maxwell navigated, pressure for constant productivity at expense of personal fulfillment, reflect reality many ambitious souls encounter. His journey toward integration rather than compartmentalization offers possibility that success need not require sacrifice of meaningful connection. Similarly, Olivia's experience with community judgment mirrors painful reality of social exclusion many have endured, whether through small-town politics, corporate culture, family systems, or social hierarchies. Perhaps you've experienced the painful contradiction of Easter Sundays symbolizing renewal while heightening awareness of personal isolation, holidays that should celebrate connection instead emphasizing its absence. Maxwell and Olivia's specific loneliness may differ from yours, yet the fundamental human need for belonging remains identical regardless of circumstance. Their journey suggests possibility that connections forming our most meaningful chapters often begin in unexpected moments through improbable circumstances. Their story speaks to anyone who has ever felt fundamentally unseen, whether because achievement created distance or rejection created invisibility. It reminds us that authentic connection requires willingness to be truly known rather than merely strategically useful or socially acceptable. The transformation they experienced, from isolation through tenuous connection into genuine partnership, offers hope that similar journeys remain possible regardless of past disappointment. My amazing family, as we conclude Maxwell and Olivia's journey from lonely Easter through unlikely love to miraculous triplets, I'm reminded why sharing these stories matters so deeply. Each narrative we explore together affirms fundamental truth. No one remains permanently excluded from possibility of connection. No past rejection determines future belonging. No achievement substitutes for authentic relationship. If their journey touched something within your heart, recognition of your own walls needing gentle dismantling, your own loneliness seeking courageous response, your own achievements lacking deeper meaning, please share that resonance in comments below. Our community grows stronger when vulnerable truths receive compassionate witnessing rather than remaining privately carried. What part of their story reflected your own experience? Where do you recognize your challenges in their transformation?